What's up, guys? It's Monaco here, and in this video I want to talk to you about the damage roll in multiplayer. Now, one of the most important things is a damage roll in multiplayer is you have a damage card that is 4 stars. Um, the best way to go about doing this is with the Final Fantasy Record Keeper um, cards. Also, the Efreet cards have it, but since Efreet is fire and uh, you can't use Efreet on Efreet, that's not really an option. These new Final Fantasy cards that have been released are extremely good. They have very high natural crit um, to go on top of your already pretty outstanding critical as you know Ranger class or damage class anyways. Um, and one of the great things about it is at level ability level 6 you get damage break. So you don't have to augment the card to get damage break. It has it naturally. All you have to do is get it to max level. And since the attack power on those cards is so high, the damage break value is going to be pretty good. This is my setup for my Thief for my attack job. I have the Aerith card for damage. I have Griffin to help with breaking down the orange bar, which is one of the primary responsibilities of an attacker role. I have Moogle, which is a mandatory card. If you don't have Moogle as a damage dealer, you probably need to consider doing it for multiplayer. It's so great to help you drive your damage. I'm sure there's going to be cards later on that'll replace it, but for right now, Moogle, at least having a 3-star Moogle is pretty mandatory. Um, and then I have the Fire Poo Poo to help with survivability for the Efreet 2-star fight. So I'm going to go ahead and go into just a form a party for Tyrio and show you the Tyrio fight again. This is the easiest way for me to display the rules. So that's what I'm going to do. Now, your primary, what you really want to focus on as a damage dealer is working together in conjunction with your breaker. You and the breaker work together more than just about anybody else in the party. It's very important that you two are in sync and know what you're doing at all times. Basically, what you should be doing is you should be inputting actions and waiting to see what the breaker is going to do in response to you inputting actions. And then if he does something that you may not like, or he does something different than what you think he's going to do, change your plan. That's one of the advantages. You get 30 seconds to plan your actions, guys. Use every second, okay? Like, this is not a race. The way you're going to get this down in harder content is you're going to utilize each turn to its maximum potential to be able to do as much as you can towards defeating the boss, okay? And that's what you should be focusing on. You shouldn't be focusing on, let me just punch a bunch of keys and then hope this guy dies, because that's not going to work for harder content, okay? I see a lot of that going on, and it kind of pisses me off. But there's not much I can do about it right now, except tell you guys that, hey, think about doing it this way. That's really all I can do. So, anyways, just going to go with 3 people here. I'm not going to wait on the 4th person. Uh, Something else that's pretty important for multiplayer is not spending your energy by yourself. Go ahead and open up a party with all free slots if you're farming Tyrio. That way, other people who want to farm Tyrio can farm Tyrio without energy. It's pretty important. If everybody just did Tyrio solo, then there would be no parties available, and people who want to farm Tyrio couldn't do it. Okay. And it's very important right now in multiplayer that everybody's able to farm, because this is where you're going to get your skill seeds, and this is how you're going to get your advantage over other players by farming when they're not farming, or doing things when they're not doing things. And multiplayer has unlimited potential right now. So here's the orange bar. I'm going to go ahead and use an action here on the orange bar, hit hidden fire, and then save my actions, okay? I'm gonna go first and let the attacks of the breaker catch up to what I deal to the boss as far as in terms of orange bar damage. The black mage is gonna help me out in that cause and finish off the orange bar. So we have done our jobs, okay? Now it's up to the breaker to do his job and give us some orbs and break the boss. Now, the next turn, what you should do is conserve actions. Well, drive orbs, but you're not going to be able to really conserve actions, especially with 3 people. So you have your maximum actions. So help the breaker break the boss and do a little bit of damage and get your orbs cultivated. So that way, the very next turn, you can do as much damage as you possibly can. Okay? And that's just for this particular scenario. That's how this is playing out. That's not necessarily going to be the case all the time. As far as like, what happens for the second turn and all that stuff. The Black Mage is doing good damage. He has his cards leveled up fairly well. So that's good. This boss is probably going to go down pretty fast, even with 3 players. You really only need you really only need 2 4-star players for this to be able to down this. But anyways, that's kind of like the breaker roll in a nutshell. Just work together with your breaker, or the damage roll, excuse me, in a nutshell. Just work together with your breaker as much as possible. Try and conserve orbs for the break and deal as much damage during break as you possibly can. Now, there's a lot of scenarios where you're going to want to go third. Not necessarily last. Let the knight go last, okay? So allow the support and the breaker to go ahead of you. Go third, and then let the knight go last so that he can replenish your orbs. Okay, that's what they're supposed to be doing. So most times you're going to follow up what the breaker does, except for when the orange bar is full. When the orange bar is full, you're going to want to lead the party and deal damage with abilities. Okay. All right, so that's pretty much the attacker role in a nutshell, guys. If I missed anything, leave it in the comments below. What I want to show you right now is I want to get into some of these cards real fast and do this instead of releasing another video. So these are all the scrolls. What the scrolls do is they allow you to level up your Final Fantasy Record Keeper cards that you purchase via the shop. Depending on what you purchased, there's Titus and Jet, Vanilla and Fane, Aerith and Tifa, and all that nonsense. What they cost is 6 Tyrios pencils, and I'll go ahead and show you an augmentation as well. I believe I have enough to go ahead and augment one more ability level on my 4 Warriors of Light. Getting it to level 6 will unlock damage break, and then once you unlock the ability, it'll be there, obviously forever. 80% is more than enough for me. I don't usually try to do it at 100%. If I fail, I fail. It's whatever. But more often than not, I succeed, and then you save yourself some material cost. So that's where I'm at. I'm at level 5 with my my 4 Warriors of Light. Now I'm still trying to farm this Tyrio and get this up to level 6 and max it out so that way I can have damage break. And this thing is a very nice card. All of these cards are extremely similar to 4 Warriors of Light. They all have extremely high damage and no break value. So they're secondary cards. You don't really want to use them as primary cards. If you have a slot available, go ahead and bring them to be able to do the most damage that you can. Now, a caveat to that is that they do cost 5 orbs instead of 4. So they're slightly more expensive. So having a a 4-star augmented break card with you is always a good idea. That way you have a 3-orb cost card. Because of the extra abilities that this adds, this is going to be the card that you're going to want to use first, and then with all the remaining orbs, use the 3-star variant. So if you have like 11 wind orbs, go ahead and use 4 Warriors of Light one time, and then use your break card twice. And that's going to be the best way to go about using this card and utilizing it. Alright, so that's pretty much all I have as far as that is concerned. When you're going into form a party in multiplayer, some things that you need to keep in mind, especially if you're doing the 2-star fight, you want to have one of every role, okay? Defenders are very good to have right now because they help drive orbs for the rest of the party. And, you probably should consider maybe taking a defender. Now, if you feel like you can get by without a defender, then, you can have that role be an attack role. It's kind of a flex slot, but you're almost, it's pretty much mandatory to have a healer and a breaker, okay? Because breakers they do so much for the party. It's not even funny. So definitely need at least one attacker, one healer, and one breaker, and then the 4th slot is either an attacker or a defender for your party setup. Another thing, you can adjust the player levels to kind of restrict who comes into your party. I have mine set at 30 right now. That's probably pretty low. I should have it at 36. The problem with having it too high is that it's harder to get people to come into the party. But if you have it set to a reasonably high number, then it's going to restrict the amount of just garbage players that come into your party, which is good. I understand that everybody needs to be able to play and wants to play multiplayer, but honestly, if you don't have at least a 3-panel job, you really have no business doing the Ifrit 2-star fight. You should be focused on doing the 1-star variant of Ifrit or doing the Tyrael fight. Okay, you don't need a max job to do those fights, but you definitely need at least a 3-panel, at least a 3 or 4-panel job to do the 2-star Ifrit fight. They're very difficult fights. But anyways, that's pretty much all I have for the multiplayer release. If you guys feel like I missed anything or you want me to cover something, definitely leave a comment in the section in the comment section, and I will get to that as soon as possible. Thanks guys for watching. Hope you're enjoying the content, and I'll see you next video.